Welcome back, movie fans. Today I'm going to tell you my favorite horror movies from the 2000s. So from 2000, 2009, and as usual, they're not in order of preference. I'm starting with the earliest and with the latest. Let's start off with Final Destination. I like this one a lot. It spawned a bunch of sequels, but none of them, to me, lived up to it. So I'll just I stick with the original as much as I can. Alex has this premonition. Him and his classmates are going on a school trip. He has this premonition that the plane's going to explode. He panics. They all get kicked off the bus. The plane, sorry, not the bus. They get kicked off the plane. As we know, one by one, death comes for them. I like this one a lot. Now, next up on my list, actually has two actors from Final Destination, The Forsaken. I'm not going to talk a lot about this movie because I want you to watch it, but it's a vampire movie. I love vampire movies. That's one of my favorite, like werewolf, vampires. Love vampires. I like this one a lot. Has Keir Smith, he was in Final Destination. This one's really well done too. Brothers, they get caught up in vampires. Watch the movie. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but check out The Forsaken. Up next is 13 Ghosts. This one's all kinds of creepy. All the monsters and stuff. The great Matthew Lillard is in this one. I want to talk for a long time about these movies, but I don't want to give anything away because I want you to watch them if you haven't seen them yet. But imagine you've seen 13 Ghosts. Up next, Cabin Fever. From the mind of Eli Roth, starring Ryder Strong from Boy Meets World. Oddly enough, Eli Roth remade this movie himself not too long after. But I like Cabin Fever. It's one of those movies where I watch like, that was really cool. Like, flesh eating. It's not for the faint of heart, I guess. If you have kind of a weak stomach, certain parts will get to you, but I liked it. Okay, up next is the fight we've all been waiting for. Freddy versus Jason. This one, it wasn't as great as I was hoping it would be, but I still enjoyed it a lot for what it was. It was kind of goofy. Kelly Rowland, of course, Jason and Freddy. It was good for what it was. I mean, I'd like to see another one someday. Maybe better CGI, better story. But check out Freddy vs. Jason. Okay, the next one. First time I watched it, blew my mind. And this spawned a huge franchise. The first Saw. This one was so well done. Because really, it's essentially just two guys in a room. Chained to their areas and just... There's our introduction to Jigsaw. The great Tobin Bell. Just... Wow. First time I watched it, I watched it with an ex-girlfriend and we immediately watched it again. Just because, like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So Saw was a great one. The next one's kind of a horror comedy hybrid. Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead. My wife introduced me to this one because she loves Simon Pegg. So, zombie movie mixed in with a comedy. It does make me laugh, but at the same time, it is zombies, right? So, it makes sense. Rob Zombie. Devil's Rejects. I'm not going to say anything about this movie because this is one you have to watch for yourself. Nothing at all. I'm going to just watch Devil's Rejects if you haven't seen it yet. The next one is an interesting concept. Vacancy. Where I believe it's Luke Wilson and his wife, girlfriend, get a motel. Things go straight to shit. And I remember for a long time afterwards, I got like, what if that actually happened? You got a motel and this and that and the other thing. And this one has sequels as well. Never watched any of the sequels. Just, I haven't done it. But this one, I like this one. Another Rob Zombie one. This one's a remake. Rob Zombie's Halloween. Now, it was a lot different than the original. Because in the original Halloween series, we didn't see Michael Myers talk at all. But this one here had a lot more backstory and talking of Michael, which kind of threw me off because just hearing Michael talk, it was different, I guess. But I understand why this movie is not for everybody. Where Halloween is not my favorite franchise, my favorite horror franchise, maybe that's why it doesn't bother me as much. But check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Oh, the next one. Let the Right One In. This one is about a child vampire. She befriends a kid, and my wife and I watch it like, that movie was a hell of a lot better than it had any right to be. We were amazed how good this one was. And I'm not going to give anything away for this either. I guess it's going to be a shorter video than I thought it was going to be because I don't want to give anything away. Oh, the next one's all kinds of fucked up. I never thought of this as a horror movie, but upon researching this video, I googled horror movies from the 2000s, and this one popped up like, okay, I kind of get it then. Willem Dafoe in Antichrist. This movie's not for the faint of heart. Him and his wife are having sex. Their child falls out the window and dies. And the movie's about after. It's not for the squeamish. It's not for the uptight, I guess, because there are sex scenes in the movie. They don't hide anything in the movie. Let's just put it that way. So it's not for everybody, but up next on my list is another remake. Friday the 13th from 2009. Now, Friday the 13th is my favorite horror franchise, but I didn't mind this one. It wasn't as great as some of the originals, but at the same time, it's better than some of the originals. Jason Goes to Hell, Friday the 13th, Jason X, stuff like that. So buy it as a standalone. It wasn't that bad. And it has Jonah from Superstore show. But, alright, the next, I thought it was just a flat out comedy, but I guess it is zombies and stuff. So when I googled it, it popped up like, damn. Woody Harrelson, Zombieland. Bill Murray with the cameo. Jesse Eisenberg. I really like this one a lot. I haven't watched the sequel yet, but there is a sequel out there. I may get around to doing that. But in saying that, that's my entire list. As you know, usually the genre list by decade, I split into 2 videos. I struggled to get 14 horror movies from the 2000s that I actually liked. So the 2000s were not a good decade for the horror movie. I think Saw helped bring it back a little bit, but other than that, like there was a lot listed. Just like, I didn't like that. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. So I actually struggled to come up with 14. I tried for 15 anyway, but I just honestly couldn't do it. So those are my favorite horror movies from the 2000s. Let me know your favorite horror movies from the 2000s in the comments below. Maybe you hated some of the ones I liked and you liked some of the ones I hated. Till next time, thanks for watching, movie fans.